All right, guys. This is Coach Sellers. We're going to be discussing BMI rise in America. Now, BMI is body mass index. It's a formula that includes height and weight to measure a person's lean to fat composition. Body composition refers to percentages of fat and fat free mass, muscle, and bone in the body. So you can see you have your fat in your body, your bone, and your lean body mass. Your lean body mass includes several things: muscle, organs, blood cells, and even water that you're holding in your body. Your healthy goal is to have a low fat percentage and a higher fat free mass percentage. So, some BMI classifications, which this will make a little bit more sense later. Underweight is going to be your 18.5% body fat. Normal range 18.5 to 24.9. Overweight and pre-obese is ranging between 25 to 29.9. And then we start really getting into the majorly obese classes. So looking at weight in pounds, you're going to want to really look at this chart either in this video, pause it, or go back into the PowerPoint that I post after you look at this lesson. Looking at people's body mass index, like someone that's like 5'6", if they're 19.4 BMI and they weigh 120 pounds, they're normal. But if that same person, 5'6", weighs 180 pounds, they're considered overweight and they're ranging in that 29 BMI range. So just definitely look at that. BMI is a pretty reliable indicator of body fatness for most children and teens. It's also inexpensive and easy to perform. BMI does not measure body fat directly, though. So if we're looking here, calculating your BMI, you're going to take your weight over your height in inches squared times 703. So weight 150 pounds, height 5'5" or 65 inches, squared times 703. That's going to be 24.96. So use that little calculation there to calculate your BMI, and that can help you figure out what you got. So we're looking here, basically the years from 1985 to 2010 that the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control, released information about BMI. Starting back in 85, a lot of states didn't have information on this. We did in North Carolina. We were right at 10%. And a little further south in South Carolina and Georgia, they were 10 to 14. So remember, 30% is obese, overweight 25 to 19, or to 29. Sorry, that's a typo there. So we continue to go up, getting a little darker in North Carolina, getting darker across the United States. 88, we're already getting blue in a lot of the states, just a few missing. Keep continuing, getting really dark. In West Virginia, Louisiana is getting on up there pretty quickly in the early 90s. And then in 93, we find ourselves getting almost to that overweight category. We're getting close. All right, we're still sitting in that dark blue in 97 and 98. And then by 1999, from 93 to 99, we popped up into that really close to being overweight category. And we're only going to hang there for a couple years because by Yep, 2005, 6 years later, we are already up in the orange for full overweight. And Louisiana and Alabama are already in the obesity category, and West Virginia. So continuing. So 2010, we're looking at about the same scale, but if you can see, those dark red states have increased significantly. Texas, Louisiana, Alabama, Tennessee, South Carolina, all of our surrounding areas. So that really, if you think about it, has a lot of determining factors in the rate that we're going. Um, the West Coast is in a little bit better shape than the East Coast is. So we're kind of trending on the downward spiral there. So we're going to continue looking at some other ways to determine body fat with a scale. You know, most people have scales in their house, but a scale is going to include fat, body fluids, bone, muscle, other tissues in your body, and maybe even clothes if you're wearing clothes when you weigh. Some people opt not to because they're scared that it'll put more weight on them that they don't want to see. Um, Scale weight doesn't isolate fat. It's considered less useful of a measure because some people have thicker bones than others. That is a proven fact. But it does show your weight going up and down if you are stepping on the scale with, fat decrease or increase. So something's moving. So some other ways to determine body fat is waist to hip. It accounts for more of your abdominal fat. So right there in that tummy. It uses a non-stretchable tape measure to measure waist at its narrowest point, usually just above the belly button. Then you measure your hips around the widest part of your hip bones. You divide waist by the hip measurement to determine strengths and weaknesses of waist to hip. Some strengths. It's a good way to know whether someone is at increased risk for heart disease or diabetes. It's really easy to do, but the weakness is it does not indicate how much fat or how much muscle a person has, so it's not super precise. Um, it's giving you your ranges there, and just going from a male from point 0.9 and below to 0.95 and above, that's not a big wide range of numbers, so it's kind of tight along that scale. So if you want to calculate your BMI, you can use the BMI tool on the CDC website to determine your BMI. You can click on that link if you go to the PowerPoint. Um, I don't think you'll be able to click on it from this video. It shouldn't allow that. Um, but definitely check that out. Just put your information in and record your BMI. You can compare your weight to other places in the United States and North Carolina. What someone your age is weighing in at. So just kind of cool tool there. But please email me if you guys have any questions. Um, and just try to look at this, review this before you're taking your quiz and doing your assignments. I hope you guys have a great day and a happy Thanksgiving.